Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's forum. We will wait for additional participants to join. In the interim, please enjoy a small video presentation we have put together on natural and herbal remedies in the Caribbean. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Community-Based Tourism Network Forum. And today we will explore the topic of wellness tourism beyond the norm. So thanks to everyone that has joined us. And we will be graced today with various presentations from an esteemed panel who will explore the topic of recuperative wellness, the topics rather of recuperative wellness, traditional medicines, and alternative therapies. To the honorable ministers and commissioners of tourism, directors of tourism, permanent secretaries, other tourism officers, and representatives from CTO member countries, our allied and affiliate members, staff members, our esteemed panel of presenters and our feature speaker, representatives of regional and international partner organizations, specially invited guests, and all forum attendees. We are very pleased to welcome you to this forum on wellness tourism beyond the norm. Globally, there has been an increased focus on health and wellness, spurred by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on human health, interpersonal interactions, and travel and tourism more broadly. The Caribbean is well placed to take advantage of this trend by utilizing our heritage and nature-based assets. Indigenous knowledge and traditions, our affinity with herbs, medicinal plants, and familiarity with alternative therapies have placed the region at the forefront of trends such as using food as medicine. The theme of today's forum, Wellness Tourism Beyond the Norm, will examine the region's contribution to this growing niche. Each of the topics we will explore today on recuperative wellness, traditional medicines, and alternative therapies will be explored through presentations by experts and practitioners who are actively involved in this area. The Caribbean Community-Based Tourism Network was created as a platform for the exchange of best practices and experiences among public and private sector practitioners in CTO member countries. In today's forum, we will explore the opportunities to develop the wellness tourism product in CBT, in the Caribbean, community-based tourism, and more specifically to capitalize on the links between tourism and health and wellness beyond the norm. Thank you all for joining us. And as we begin today's proceedings, I would like to invite all speakers and panelists to open your cameras, and we will have the official photo. So I will go on to, great. I will take a couple shots. Thank you, everyone. And one more. I think Ina Mavel, if you could kindly open your cameras. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So with that, I have the distinct honor of introducing our featured speaker, Ms. Stephanie Rest, founder for the Caribbean Wellness and Education, who will deliver an address on the true essence of wellness tourism. Stephanie Rest, founder and CEO, has been working in collaboration with emerging countries around the world on wellness and spa development projects. Stephanie's previous experience in the tourism industry is vast. She has led opening teams for resorts and spas since 2001. She has been influential in creating new facilities and reinvigorating existing spas to meet the challenges and opportunities of the new waves of spa development. Stephanie believes in promoting the entrepreneurial spirit, leadership, and service to the community. She was creator and chair of the first Turks and Caicos Islands Hospitality Adventures Spa Camp, leading her to found Caribbean Wellness and Education, an organization that cultivates wellness programs, professional events, and educational courses for spa and tourism professionals. Since 2015, Stephanie has served as an advisory board member for JM Pankey's Partners, the seven-figure spa consultancy firm. She is the president of We Consulting, a firm specializing in developing optimal solutions for spa and wellness enterprises. Recently, she founded the new initiative and nonprofit Wellness for Children, serving as vice president on the board of directors. She also works with Whimsy World, a nonprofit 501c3 organization supporting children in need through art, music, wellness, and creative expression. And in that capacity, she is the Director of Development and Strategic Initiatives. The feature address, as mentioned, will focus on the true essence of wellness tourism and will provide an introduction to the wellness market, including an overview of trends, demand drivers, meeting visitor expectations, and also expound on opportunities and the types of experiences that can be offered in the CBT context in the Caribbean. Once again, welcome, Ms. Stephanie Rest, and over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Charles. Pleasure to be here with all you today. I'm just going to pull up my screen. I love the video in the beginning because what I've been preaching now for about 10 years is that the Caribbean is the world's spa. And we do a lot of work all over the world, but the Caribbean is definitely our favorite location to do it in because wellness just comes natural to you all, which is wonderful. So I know there's a lot of hoteliers and stakeholders on this call, and everyone likes to know the numbers behind wellness and really how you can make your money. So wellness travel is a segment of the overall global wellness economy. And by 2025, they're predicting that it'll be $1,127 billion segment of travel industry. So what is wellness tourism? So travel no longer has to be hard and uncomfortable. Wellness tourism puts your health and your well-being at the very center of your travel experience. People are increasingly embracing travel with a higher benefit to either themselves and their bodies or others, particularly after COVID. And I know that so many people went through so many changes in how we clean our properties, how we welcome our visitors, and our protocols and SOPs have changed. And instead of making things safe, we can talk about making things well. So unwell travel is unhealthy and overeating, travel stress, excessive drinking, poor sleeping, disruption of fitness routine. Wellness travel is healthy living, rejuvenation, relaxation, meaning and connection, authentic experiences, disease prevention and management, all things that the Caribbean offers so well naturally. So we're really just positioned to own the market of wellness tourism. So this is an overview of really what the global wellness economy is. In 2020, it was a $4.4 trillion market. And you can kind of see through the bubbles based on the amount of revenue each sector generates, what the largest is. And wellness tourism is a $436 billion economy as of 2020. Of course, we've gone through the past couple of years, and it's hard to get any accurate figures for the last couple of years and what we've gone through in our travel disturbances. But this is probably the best number from 2020 available as of now. I think, travel is running back. So by 2023, we'll have some better indicators on how this segment is going to grow. But there's also other categories in here that I know quite a few stakeholders are focusing on, as well as healthy eating, nutrition, weight loss, personal care and beauty, physical activity, even wellness real estate is an important factor. These are the numbers by region, and this report was done in 2015. There haven't been any updates to it as of yet. It comes from the Global Wellness Institute. But you can see in Latin America that wellness trips were 30 billion, and they do focus the Caribbean into that market. It would be hard to segment it and say how many wellness trips exactly. But there were 47 million wellness trips in Latin America in 2015. And that's inbound and domestic, because I know we're trying to focus a lot on building our regional community travel within the Caribbean. So what does this mean? Wellness travel is a way of life. 130%, wellness tourists spend 130% more than the average tourist. So this is why you want a wellness tourist. Wellness tourism is the fastest growing sector of travel. It's 50% faster year over year than all other global tourism. An estimated 17 million travels identify themselves as being healthy and wellness focused, with 40% of them traveling regularly. Non-spa related healthy travel represents 50% of the wellness tourism market. 15 countries account for 75 to 85% of outbound international wellness trips, led by Europe, North America, and wealthier developed Asian countries. I know for the Caribbean, we get a lot of our people from Europe and North America particularly, but the Asian markets are steadily growing in our inbound tourism. What about millennials? So this is always a hot topic. 80% of millennials surveyed by American Society of Travel Agents took at least one leisure trip in 2016. Why we care about millennials? Well and Good surveyed 4,600 women, 55% said they are taking 2 to 3 vacations a year, and 66% were planning a wellness vacation within the next 12 months. According to the Harris Group, 72% of millennials would rather spend money on experiences than on material goods. For millennials, wellness is a daily active pursuit and one they are willing to spend on. Outdoor adventure programs, green initiatives, local do-good, and volunteerism activities are more important for younger travelers. What this means for me: if you are not offering wellness-related services, you must. The details. These are the things that matter: spa services, fitness, food, nature, customization, connection, eco-friendly, volunteerism, healthy sleep, personal enrichment, wellness amenities, automated wellness, medical tourism, and security. Let's evaluate the assets. So, who provides the most experiential travel experience in the Caribbean? Locally grown foods and villa services, rainforests, medicinal herb trails, tubing, snorkeling, outdoor excursions, trips to the sister islands and keys, high-end amenities, local spa products, unique fitness experiences, yoga, indigenous foods, and even wellness weeks. Another thing for the destination stakeholders is bringing wellness travelers to the Caribbean for retreats, international health and wellness retreats. You have the ability to host international retreats with a specific focus on investment. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rest, for a succinct, but I think very comprehensive presentation in terms of key industry insights on wellness tourism. I know that our attendees would have been inspired given the projection for growth in the industry. As I am aware, so many of our destinations are either already engaged in wellness tourism or considering how to expand the wellness tourism market. So thanks again for sharing with us and making time to attend today's forum. Now, in keeping with the theme for today's forum, and this being what we want to call Wellness Wednesday, I would like to invite everyone to pause for a moment to experience a mindfulness minute.
Welcome to Mindfulness Minute. Get comfortable. Let your body and your mind relax. Bring your awareness to your breathing deep, slow, even breaths, and allow your mind to blank, thinking only of your breathing. Now close your eyes, or you may watch the screen. Relax. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to check out more.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so with that, we now begin our first panel session. And the focus for this panel session is recuperative wellness. In terms of some guidance, we will have all of the presentations delivered, and this will be followed by Q&A, question and answer. Forum attendees are requested to please use the Zoom Q&A feature to post any questions or comments. We remind you to include your name as well as the name of the presenter the question is addressed to. So recuperative wellness. The Caribbean is graced with a warm tropical climate, an abundance of flora and fauna, stunning vistas and enchanting landscapes, replete with a diversity of nature-based assets, which make the region ideal for recuperative wellness. With today's busy work schedules and demanding lifestyles, the need for wellness travel and rejuvenating holidays is increasingly on demand, with persons seeking to relax, recover, and rejuvenate at a slower pace, while reconnecting with themselves and enjoying nature. The region has historically been linked to this lifestyle and is well positioned to attract this growing market. This panel will feature regional best practice models offering recuperative and restorative wellness experiences. We will hear today from Ms. Giselle Stephen, who is Marketing Manager at the Body Holiday St. Lucia, Mrs. Avril Copel, General Manager, Rosalie Bay Eco Resort and Spa in Dominica, and Mr. Kyle Mace, Chairman of the Jamaica Health and Wellness Network and Managing Director, Jamaica Inn. So with that, I warmly welcome the first presenter, Ms. Giselle Stephen from the Body Holiday in St. Lucia. Over to you, Giselle.
Good morning, everybody. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, perhaps you can just enlarge at the bottom.
Yes.
Go to the slideshow view.
Awesome. All right. So thank you for joining me today. I am Giselle Stephen, the Marketing Manager here at Body Holiday in St. Lucia, also at our sister property, Stolen Time, also in St. Lucia. Today, I will cover a brief overview of what we offer here at Body Holiday. Body Holiday is the world's first lasting holiday, the first holiday in the world to combine an intense pleasure of personalized rejuvenation with the opportunity to acquire skills and insights that will enhance the rest of your life. Above all, Body Holiday offers a fun and rejuvenating experience that will leave you feeling pampered and wanting to come back for more. Our location, we are located on the northwest tip of St. Lucia, and it sits directly on the Cariblou's Crescent Beach, surrounded by 32 acres of lush tropical green vegetation. It is only a 35-minute drive from the island's capital, Castries, and George F.L. Charles Airport, and 90 minutes away from Uwanora International Airport. We are based on 4 key pillars. That is relaxation, therapeutic cares, activities, and nutrition. And before I go on, I'll just show you a bit of what we offer here at Body Holiday through video.
Welcome to St. Lucia. Welcome to Body Holiday, the world's best vacation of health and well-being. Amazing things happen when you introduce your body to your mind. Body Holiday aims to change people's lives one person at a time, atop a personalized program of wellness and discovery. Body Holiday includes everything you could imagine. And nothing that detracts from our promise to our guests. Give us your body for a week, and we'll give you back your mind.
All right, so as the video said, our promise is to give us your body for a week and we'll give you back your mind. We are also changing people's lives one person at a time. That's enticing, right? So it's so many things to do while on the resort here at Body Holiday. We encourage our guests to use our online platform called the Web Room. We encourage them to plan their stay even before they arrive so that when our guests coming, they're not confused with so many things to do on resort. Once they plan their entire stay, pre-arrival, a schedule will be placed in their rooms so that they know exactly where they need to be when they need to be there. Body Holidays Wellness Center is a beautiful and comprehensive center of health and well-being. It is here that guests come to receive their pampering treatments designed to relax and rejuvenate the mind and the body. We have also carefully customized 11 treatments and offer them as part of every guest's stay. So yes, every single guest will receive one of these included treatments every single day of their stay, except on arrival or departure. Our wellness center can be broken down into 4 categories. The first one, which is body science. It is an assessment of various factors, which include nutrients, hormones, and stress levels, heart health, and circulation, and to establish the best course to better living. Secondly, we have the Ayurvedic temple, which is led by an Ayurvedic doctor and comprises of Ayurvedic healing treatments and dosha analysis. Then we have the skin clinic that carries an extensive range of non-surgical treatments and uses the finest skincare formulas, including products from IS Clinicals, KC, and SkinCeuticals. And lastly, we have our treatments. We have daily treatments included that I've previously mentioned, with a choice of massages, facials, thalassotherapy, we have far infrared therapy, scrubs, and wraps. All of these are included in every guest stay. We also have a wide range of exclusive treatments covering osteopathy, acupuncture, shiatsu, sports massage, iridology, reflexology, injury prevention, as well as coral healing. Body Holiday cannot forget about food and drink. It consists of 6 dining outlets of international standard, and it is all about finding balance. There is a bit of everything for everybody at Body Holiday. The first one is ITAL, which is our organic Rastafarian farm-to-table experience. Then we have Tao, which offers Asian fusion fine dining. And a fun fact about Tao, it has been included in Condé Nast Traveler's list of 60 hottest tables. Then we have the Pavilion Grill, which is more casual dining, the casual dining alternative. We serve primarily Mediterranean cuisine, including pizzas, flatbreads, grilled foods, and fresh fish. Again, something for everybody. Then we have Caribou Restaurant, which overlooks Caribou Beach and the Caribbean Sea. Caribou Restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner breakfast and lunch are buffet style. And on 4 nights a week, we serve an a la carte dinner. Then on evenings where Caribou serves the a la carte dinner, we have Caribou Windows. Caribou buffet area is transformed into Caribou Windows, which is a cozy, chic, and stylish restaurant where we serve a la carte dinner, obviously. And then finally, we have the Wellness Cafe that offers lighter options and specializes in gourmet sandwiches, special salads, fruits, vegetables, fruit smoothies, and vegetable smoothies as well, vegetable juices. Body Holiday is all about health and fitness with an array of activities included as part of your stay. And these are just some of the included activities that we offer at Body Holiday. Our adventure program will take you trekking through St. Lucia's forests, hiking up mountains, rock climbing, mountain biking, just to name a few. Throughout the year, we have theme months, special theme months, that is hosted by international guest presenters. In March, we have the Spring Sale. In June, we celebrate Jive June. Then during July and August, we have Well-Fit Families. September, we have September Solos. October, we have October Yoga. In November, we host Swim Fit. And in December, we have the pre-Christmas restorative break. Body Holiday is more than just a good night's sleep. In every single room, we offer Wi-Fi. We have Bluetooth integrated sound system. We offer personalized turn down service, organically sourced amenities, and a pillow menu, making a fabulous sleep program. Our guests have the options to stay in various room categories, which include our 4 villas. The first 2 are the Oasis Villas, Villa Aurora and Villa Calypso. Then we have Villa Hibiscus. And then finally, of the 4 villas, we have Villa Firefly. And within the resort, there are 155 rooms, including our penthouse. We have only 1 penthouse. Then we have the grand luxury oceanfront rooms and suites, as well as the junior suites. We have the luxury rooms, luxury oceanfront rooms, and luxury ocean view rooms. And finally, we have 29 standard garden view rooms. What is extra special about our standard garden view rooms is that they are built with solo travelers in mind. This is the only category that does not carry a single supplement fee. All of our accommodations here at Body Holiday are fully furnished with contemporary bathrooms, as well as fully air conditioned. All right, thank you everybody for allowing me to enlighten you a little bit about the Body Holidays experience, and I hope you give us a chance to pamper you very soon.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stephen. It really is inspiring and innovative, and it's interesting, like some of the others that we will review today, how you position yourself and target the wellness markets. So I now have the pleasure of introducing Mrs. Avril Coppell, General Manager at Rosalie Bay Eco Resort and Spa in Dominica. Thank you, and over to you, Mrs. Coppell.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And thank you very much for having me on the panel this morning. Today, I'm going to speak about the offerings that we have on Rosalie Bay Eco Resort and Spa, and really trying to bring across how we want to integrate really the community aspect of tourism, and how we really try as much as possible to ensure that we have an impact on the livelihoods and on the different businesses and organizations that are basically affiliated with us. Rosalie Bay is on the southeast coast of Dominica. It is positioned where the Rosalie River meets the Atlantic Ocean. I think it's not right. Yeah, the Rosalie River is the Atlantic Ocean. As you can see in the picture, we have the Rosalie River on the north side and then the ocean on the east coast. What's special about our location is that the beach right there is a really great black sand beach, but it is where our endangered turtles, the hawksbill, the leatherbacks, and the green turtles nest annually. And so this is actually a big part of our program, and it is really the basis on which the resort was actually constructed. So what we really try to do here is to ensure that conservation and protection of the environment is part of everything that we do. We have 28 rooms and it's built on 28 acres. So it really allows the traveler, allows our guests to really get a restoring of their mind, of their body, just by being in such a natural environment. We focus a lot on the sound of the ocean and that sound is replacing the sound of the vehicles and all the other noises that you hear, particularly if you are coming from a big city. We focus also on the fresh air that is always there because surrounded by rainforest, you get pure oxygen. And that, of course, is a big part of your restoration. Deep breathing, as we could see in our previous mindfulness video. And in terms of conservation as well, we focus on renewable energy. So we have solar energy. We also have a 225 kilowatt wind turbine that also provides energy for the resort. The traditional design is also by design, again, to restore you, to take you away from where it is that you came from, and to really put you in a frame of mind to just relax and enjoy your vacation, your time away from us. In terms of our mission, we really wanted to ensure that the resort had an impact on the employment and the livelihoods of the surrounding villages. So 95% of our staff comes from the surrounding villages right there. And we have about 3 villages that are in close proximity. Although you wouldn't know it because of the rainforest, you don't see the villages, but they're right there. And Rosalie Bay has a tremendous impact on the livelihoods by providing the employment and the income for the people that are living there, either directly through wages or indirectly through the purchase of goods, services, produce, and so on from the surrounding villages. I show here the rooms that we have, but the main reason I want you to see the rooms is to show our focus again on livelihood protection. Everything you see here is locally made. So the beds are locally made. So we are supporting handcraft, the craftsmanship of the surrounding areas as much as possible. Even the lampshades that are on the lamp is actually made by the Kalinago people. So we are again trying to incorporate the culture and the practices of Dominica in everything that we do. Our wellness program, we call it the Rejuvenature program, and it is the Eat Well, Live Well, Glow Well program. What we're saying to rejuvenate, it's everything. It's how you eat, it's what you eat, it's when you eat. It's how you live in terms of being responsible for the environment, being responsible for other people, and being just responsible for yourself as well, in terms of what you put into yourself, what you give out from your mind. And then we also talk about glow well in the sense that how do you shine, what it is that you contribute to life and to society. So in terms of the rejuvenature, the different aspects that we look at, when a guest comes, one of the first things we would like to do is a health consultation or wellness consultation with them. So they tell us if they have any issues such as, of course, allergies and aches and pains, stomach problems, other digestive system issues, things that we can treat through food and through just taking care of yourself. A lot of the issues that people have, particularly digestive systems, inflammation, and so on, is because of what you eat. And by simply changing your diet, you can make a great impact, a great difference in how you feel and how you actually live your life. And so this part of the rejuvenation program, where you just tell us what it is that's going on with you, we can take it from there and see, okay, what are the foods that will contribute to improving your health and to improving just how you feel and how it is that you can continue your life. We also have different types of physical activity options. So it's not just the yoga and the cardio and the strength training, but just by walking. It's 22 acres. You can walk on property, take your time and walk and breathe at the same time. And this is something that is very recuperative, very restorative for the body. Of course, our spa has different massages and different treatments that can be used. And again, to target whatever specific aches and pains or stiffness that you have to be able to, that you have first to be able to treat it. And then, of course, in terms of the natural healing, we focus a lot on natural medicine. So we have a herbal garden that is classified into digestive system, vascular system, immune system, and so on. And this gives a guide to the guests as to what it is that they can use to naturally restore your health. In our restaurant, we focus a lot on the wide variety that Dominica has to offer in terms of food. We have a wide variety of underground food. That is our roots and tubers, dasheen, yams, couscous, tanias, and so on. We have our above ground, we have a wide variety of vegetables, and of course, all our tree crops, with the bananas, plantains, cocoa, and a wide variety of fruits. And all these provide all the essential vitamins and minerals that a person needs to lead a healthy lifestyle. So you basically in Dominica can eat day after day, delicious dishes composed really of living food, unprocessed foods. And so we promote that a lot, and we try to push that you can just get a restorative process in your health, restore your being just by eating our unprocessed foods. And of course, because we're doing that, we are linking a lot with farmers, with people who offer farm tours, with culinary experiences, with the agro processors and all these people who are in the agricultural industry and in the manufacturing industry that help us bring the food together. So we're looking at, for instance, we have green bananas on the resort, and the green bananas can be used to make natural provision dishes, but also a wide variety of other snacks like cakes, of course, when they're ripe, and then we can also do fruit smoothies and so on and so forth, right? So it's really a whole link that we can show just from the food. And what we want people to do is to really experience the food. So it's not just you coming to eat, but you can really participate and understand that green bananas are good for you because of the potassium, and oranges are good for you because of the vitamin C, and so on and so forth. And so we try to educate people and to let them see that, hey, your food can be fun, your food can look exotic, your food can be gourmet, but it has to be natural and unprocessed. One of our culinary events that we use to bring the community together is called Wato. Wato is the Kalinago word for fire. And in the picture, you can see the Kalinago troop. And what they are doing, they're really just showcase their culture. And they really enjoy being part of this because it allows them to showcase their craft and their cooking. As you can see in this event, we have our guests actually cooking in the traditional way. So that in itself is also a way for them to get centered and just to get away from the things that they do normally at home and just experience our traditional way of life that we had before we all had stoves and fridges. This is a thing that Dominicans still do a lot. We go by the river and we cook outside, and just being outside in the fresh air is actually very centering and helps you to have a really relaxing day. We have a spa, we call it glow spa. Glow is actually the Creole word for water, and we call it that because it's actually on the river. One of our treatments is the hydrotherapy treatment. And in that treatment, we really go back to what our parents and our grandparents did as children. And that is you go outside and you pick herbs, you pick leaves from something we call the glory cedar tree, you mash it up, you put it in water, and you have a soup. And what that does, it really detoxes the body and it cleanses the skin. So we have different types of treatments, different types of herbs and spices that we put into the water, depending on what it is that we would like to treat. Again, you can see the natural environment, the use of the wood and so on. And it's really, again, to get people to relax and to just enjoy being in a natural environment. We do have a pool and the gym where we do the strength training and the yoga and other types of fitness activities. Again, if you want, we also do yoga on our riverside gazebo. And again, just listening to the water while you're doing the yoga and other fitness activities is also very recuperative. One of the linkages that we have for the spa and for the gym is again with farmers and with small agro-processors of natural oils and other body care products. So as part of the WATO activity, we have the small agro-processors and the food also come in and display their items and also give an education to the participants of the event, so that again you can see coconut is something that grows naturally, but you can get an oil from it. Nutmeg grows naturally, you get an oil from it. So again, it is very minimally processed items that you can use, and it specifies what are the benefits that it affords a person when you use the particular item. We also have linkages with yoga and other Pilates trainers that are in the community so that they themselves can also contribute to the activity. The Rejuvenature event is Rejuvenature Day, and on that day we have yoga. We had the last one, we had a cannabis talk, we have environmental discussions, and so on. And we had classes such as how to make your own botanical scrubs using our natural ingredients. So mint leaves, cocoa powder, and so on, brown sugar. All these things can be used to make your scrub. So it was part of the activity that we had. And of course, all our guests and the participants enjoyed it very much because it was, again, using natural things that you could just go into your yard and find, and or go into the resort yard and use it. And that is allowing you to, again, be able to be centered. Our turtle program is a big part of our wellness activity, again, because it incorporates responsible travel into it and allows people to at least contribute to something that is bigger than themselves. The endangered leatherback turtles, along with the green and the hawksbill, they nest at Rosalie Bay every year. And we know that when a turtle comes and it nests, it lays about 100 eggs or so, but only 1 out of 1,000 of the eggs might grow up to be an adult female that comes back to nest. So it's very important that we protect these animals and to ensure that they have a sanctuary that they can come back to. So the wellness part, the conservation part of our activities involves having turtle patrols, having guests participate in the turtle patrol, participate in the release of hatchlings, participate in the protection of the nest, and so on. And so we find we have a lot of people, a lot of groups that have gotten interested, mainly through our activities of advertising and marketing the nature enhancement team. And they are interested, they have come now and they have volunteered to, for instance, clean up the Sagassum on the beach, just to allow the babies to be able to go into the water safely. And this activity, of course, is also very well appreciated by all our guests. We have a World Rivers Day activity every year, and that's because we have adopted the river and ensure that whatever waste management and activities that we have, that we never pollute the river in any way. So we aim really to develop all these initiatives that we have so far and we want to build on others so that we can continue to have the positive influence that we would like to have, both on the community that's surrounding us, on the community tourism activities that they themselves develop, and also to have a lasting impact on our guests. We have found that our guests appreciate the fact that they come into an environment that allows them to be responsible and allows them to really indulge and engage with locals and with the local culture. I want to thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Coppell. A really informative presentation. We will introduce to the rejuvenature concept, wellness that includes conservation, supporting community livelihoods, and utilizing the local culture, and the concept of Eat to Live was also very interesting. So I now have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Kyle Mays. He's the chairman of the Jamaica Health and Wellness Network and managing director, Jamaica Inn. And we shift focus and explore original best practice, which is the establishment of health and wellness networks. Over to you, Mr. Mays. Mr. Mays.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me just pull up our presentation here so we can share. Are we seeing my screen as well?
No, Kyle, you have to select the PowerPoint app. Right now you've selected Windows Explorer, so that's what we're seeing. So stop sharing and then resume again and select the PowerPoint. There we go, thanks.
And the PowerPoint, share screen. And from here, we need to select the there we go.
Yes, yes, I'm seeing that now.
Okay. Great, great.
You have disappeared from the video though.
Say that again?
You have disappeared from the video. We're not seeing you. We're seeing your background.
Oh, I'm here.
But we're seeing your background. We're not seeing you.
Yeah, well, hope it's a nice looking background.
It's very nice.
Great, great. Well, again, good morning, everyone, and thank you again, Amanda, for having me on. As indicated, today I'll be wearing the hat of the chairman of Jamaica's Tourism Enhancement Fund's Health and Wellness Linkages Network. That's a mouthful. And as we enter into this new normal after the global pandemic, one thing has become abundantly clear to I'm sure everybody here. Health and wellness is certainly at the forefront of travelers' minds these days. I think you'll all agree with me on that one. So the network really sets out to support and enhance and develop Jamaica's health and wellness product and package, promote and market it as an important tourism niche area. And further, in partnership with the industry stakeholders, we promote accredited market-ready wellness products and services and facilities across the island. And so forgive me if my presentation today is a little bit more regional or national rather than property-based. But we've heard some amazing examples of property-based activities. It's very inspiring, I must say, so far. So, you know, as we think about and as we talk today, I want us just to think about health and wellness for the purposes as being not so much the medical and medicine, but much more, you know, the recuperative and again the, you know, wellness and you know, getting away. So really in my view, even though you know, through and after after COVID, you know, we're post-pandemic. Let's hopefully we are, and but certainly COVID is around. But in my view, self-care is really going to be overtaking the sick care systems of our region. And even before the pandemic, health and wellness was a rising trend and a very, very fast growing industry. And while, of course, the pandemic certainly put a pause on wellness travel, and in fact, well, all travel for that matter, the recovery is projected to be swift and strong with a really renewed energy surrounding it. So it's helpful. I know Stephanie mentioned earlier, which was very encouraging. So, you know, before the pandemic, you know, we were looking at in 2019 industry worth in the region of about 720 billion, and you know, of course, it dipped dramatically in over the COVID period there in 2020, and numbers are still sketchy, but as we heard again from Stephanie, it's set to rebound dramatically and reach over 4 trillion by approximately 2025, which is very exciting. I'm sure we'll all agree. So really the recent pandemic highlighted that healthy individuals were less impacted overall than those with comorbidities, and individuals with compromised autoimmune systems, those challenged, for example, with obesity and other chronic illnesses, were widely and more impacted severely. Hospital stays were also a big part of that demographic, and unfortunately high rates of death. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was a true wake-up call, and has led to a much more urgent drive to incorporate health, wellness and into a lifestyle, and not just a one-time, you know, diet or exercise regime or something of that nature. So destinations, hotels, and businesses that, you know, as we look forward, that focus on health and wellness as an organic component of the visitor's experience, very, very much synonymous or in keeping with what we've heard earlier, that they will continue to grow and expand. Health and wellness these days is much more than offering a traditional massage or throwing in a weekly yoga class. Travelers are getting really, or are more savvy with what they want to achieve from their travels, and it is no longer just a rum punch and a beautiful beach, as you know, many of us have around the Caribbean. So the key to success, in my view, in the current wellness travel arena is very much that authenticity, and we had some wonderful examples. So it just reestablishes, reinforces what I have been speaking with all my stakeholders here in the island, all our manufacturers of products, all our hotels or spas or day spas. So featuring products and services and activities that complement the locations, specific locations, or various cultures and islands, and the history perhaps of the islands and perhaps the region, really help to lend much more credibility and a feeling of genuineness that travelers can relate to quite easily. The new wellness trends are you know, let's quite a blend. Let's talk about this for a minute. And so there are you know, the recuperation activities, as well as and you know, ancient and traditional healings to create new experiences that will help transform the mind, the body, and the soul, allowing visitors to return from vacation with more insight and a direction towards their overall wellness goals. And so to fully understand how the industry is authentically putting health and wellness into action and the opportunities we have, it's useful to look at a few of the wellness trends of 2022's top trends, beginning with yes. And I know a few of you would have looked at the slide and said, what is that? Yes, dirty wellness. And dirty wellness, believe it or not, is one trend, is the number one trend listed on the Global Wellness Institute's trends list. And that focuses on the health of the world's soil and the impact of soil exposure on human health, according to the GWI. And one can see this play out in guest experiences in many different ways across the Caribbean, in our resorts and on our islands. And you think of volcanic sand baths, laying on that beach there in Grenada, the black sand beach, and absorbing the warmth. And I mean, for example, in Jamaica we have therapeutic mineral springs. Actually, we're blessed with 2 of them, and so soaking in and using that for recuperative healing. Even activities such as garden tours we used to take for granted, or we thought of them differently, or foraging. They're all very much entwined, and the environment that is really come into the conversation in a big way. Immune health is also another big trend, and here we're talking about looking at ourselves inside out, and it's the number one wellness trend according to mindbodyonline.com, and this is just really a logical continuation of a pre-pandemic trend that focused on gut health, microbiomes, pre and probiotics. And so achieving a healthy immune system comes from it's a holistic is the word approach to wellness, and includes our nutrition and regular exercise, ample sleep. That's a big thing, sleep these days. And in our resorts, many of us, that's something that we pride, and we can sell, a good night's sleep. And of course, it helps to reduce stress and is very important in recuperation. Sound healing is very squarely on the list. Not new, but it's definitely making a resurgence according to Mind Body Green. Of course, this includes crystal bowls, crystal chakra treatments, classes that you're hearing. One example, and I thought it was fabulous, was Gong with the Wind. If you pick that one up, and then of course there's that restorative yoga, gong bath, vibrational sound therapies are also becoming more attractive, and certainly are you'll see them more and more in our offerings, where literally singing bowls are placed right on your body. The vibration, the vibration of our oceans, Rosalie Bay, actually both Body Holic, we talked about the sound of the sound from the ocean, or the river, or the birds, or at night. Some of our islands feature or really speak about their night noises, as in the nature's noises, not the reggae bands, but they singing, the singing tree frogs, that's all part of this sound healing movement, and that's why, and again, we heard me mentioning nature. Nature is coming through very strongly here in many of them, including the next one, revitalizing walks, another top trend according to Vogue magazine this time, and just taking walks, you know, nothing new again, but you know, we learned, we took a lot of things for granted before the pandemic, and so through and after the you know, post-pandemic here, we're really, walks really maybe save many of our lives, you know, and so we're focusing on them, and you know, when gyms were closed, that's what we did. And so to have lovely trails or walking now with, you know, on our beautiful beaches, whether it's a white sand beach or a volcanic black sand beach or a champagne sand beach like we have here in Jamaica. And in fact, one of the projects that I worked on with our linkages team was highlighting our trails of Jamaica, you know, so that our visitors could go and find, you know, without having to look too hard and do too much research to find all these beautiful, where the trails were, what facilities they had on them. We put together, you know, a resource for our visitors, which again is very much in keeping with this trend. And last but certainly not least, well, you know, technology is always a part of it, and wellness technology, according to Forbes Trend magazine, it's going to be the couple of the year for wellness. So wellness and technology. You know, technology can be a friend to some of us, or like you saw earlier, or a foe when you can't get it right. But in the wellness world, there are new technologies that can help guide one wellness so that it's completely customized and individualized based on your DNA. Body Holiday, you know, touched on some of this and some of the treatments that are being designed around this subject. There's a new biotechnology called precision nutrition. But of course, it doesn't stop just with nutrition. That's what we think of first and foremost. But properties can also focus on fitness offerings that are again too, you know, very personalized based on science, and you know, incorporate them into our mindfulness offerings. There's also, well, technology and, you know, wellness. We also can enter that whole realm of the metaverse, but that one is a whole other story. I don't think we have time for that today, but there are a few interesting trends that we all can probably take and hopefully can take advantage of. And you know, I want us to pose this interesting thought for today as well, when it comes to wellness travel. And you can actually previously describe wellness travel as as being mindless, because it was predominantly focused on the physical, but it's now much more mindful. Why do I say that? You know, simply because travelers are now focused on personal growth and feeding their minds. Some of the new offerings that you'll see in this area, arena, you know, farm, you're going on a farm retreat, or like we do here at Jamaica Inn, we have a coral restoration program, so visitors can come and help to work in our nurseries and take care of the corals and then plant them out, or in some instances that could be mangroves and you know, helping to plant mangrove or to revitalize a mangrove area. And you see that becoming much more of a in demand these days. So giving something back, you know, the whole social, the social aspect of travel and going into communities and, you know, even indigenous travel experiences are becoming very hot topic these days. So I think just to wrap up, and at the end of the day, travelers are looking for thoughtful programming which will enhance their newfound wellness lifestyles, as I mentioned earlier. Wellness, the consumers have matured, and you know, COVID has forced us to become much more reflective and sober and selfless, and perhaps maybe a little bit more serious about our health and wellness. And so they will try and seek authentic experiences that truly make an impact on their lifestyle goals. And like I've said, they've grown up, so much more environmentally conscious. And you know, weight loss is putting it you know, simply, weight loss is out, and the mental side and aspect of health is in. Also, travelers are seeing through half-hearted attempts and continue to seek experiences that truly enlighten their wellness journey. And you know, and you can see the examples, or you've heard examples of that earlier in the earlier presentations. And so I think we're certainly, you know, on the right track. And having heard what we're going to be hearing today, I think we're in a very good position to capitalize on this, you know, this emerging, this whole, well, not emerging, growing, you know. And I think those of us embracing the, you know, health and wellness is going to help especially the smaller properties such as ourselves and others you've heard today about Holiday, Rosalie, you know, and many more. It will help us to recover. We're still in recovery state, you know, our recovery phase. So that I think health and wellness might be our, dare I say, maybe even our savior. I think I'll end there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mays. As we wrap up this discussion on recuperative wellness, I would like to thank you for sharing the trends and insights. And I think bringing to the fore some of the new or novel concepts that as it relates to health and wellness tourism specifically. And I have one question for you as we wrap this panel, as it relates to the Jamaica Health and Wellness Network. Can you share with us in just about 2 minutes, so very succinct, how the network was established, who are the members, and perhaps the functions of the network?
Okay, great. So the Tourism Enhancement Fund is the overriding umbrella organization. It's a government organization established by the Ministry of Tourism, and it has always been felt, and so you know, our ministry was very forward thinking here to really take a harder look at the linkages of across many of the different verticals of, you know, of inputs into the tourism arena, whether that is gastronomy, whether that's entertainment, shopping, knowledge, the of course health and wellness aspect of the economy, and so what we did, or what they did to drive these different linkages was to create committees that would, with a chairperson, that would drive the activities to support entities that have some input or are in the tourism industry, and they're, you know, there is a calculator, a formula, so that, you know, it establishes, well, yes, you're literally our input, or you're benefiting, and we want you could benefit more from tourism. So if you, for example, obtain 20% of your and show that your income or revenues are 20% of coming from tourism, then clearly you're in, you know, then we want to help you. We wanted to help you grow that. And so, and that is the basis of it. And so that, you know, across all of the other linkages I just shared and told you. And so, you know, for example, we as a health and wellness will network. We have a number of programs throughout the year. Our biggest item on the agenda is a health and wellness conference, when we bring all our practitioners together. We have a trade show. We have obviously we have presenters. We do product training. We also have a standardized or standards training as well, to try and help improve our stakeholders' operational standards. And so we do education, webinars, communication throughout the year as well. So it's a wide we could go on for a little longer. So hopefully that covers a little bit, or gives a little insight.
It certainly does. So thank you. And I noticed that Dominica also has a health and wellness network, as well as Antigua and Barbuda. So this is a best practice in terms of bringing together stakeholders for health, wellness, and tourism to collaborate and I think enhance the industry or the sector. So with that, I would like to thank again the three presenters this morning for really informative, comprehensive presentations. Ms. Giselle Stephen, the Body Holiday, Mrs. Avril Coppell, Rosalie Bay, Eco Resort and Spa, and Mr. Kyle Mace. We now will have a brief video presentation from the Oasis Barbados, and I will invite, well, actually, I should invite any questions or comments from the audience. I believe there is one, and that is addressed to Mrs. Coppell from Rosalie Bay. And the question is, what activities are centered around the river, given your proximity to it? I think you touched on that in your presentation, but perhaps you can respond very briefly.
Okay. First of all, the river, as I said in the presentation, we have adopted the river in the sense that we are responsible. We want to always be responsible for what it is that we do. So for instance, in our waste treatment, our sewage treatment, we have implemented a vetiver field, and that really is what that purifies the water or the outflow from our sewage, so that any effluent that goes into the river is pure water. So we ensure that we do not pollute the river in any way. And of course, that is because the river itself is life, water is life, and the river has to flow onto the beach, which is our turtle nesting sanctuary. In terms of the river activities, we do have water activities such as kayaking, paddleboarding, and so on, activities that you can do for fitness as part of the fitness regime, and as part of just having fun in the water. Because it's fresh water, it's clean water, we always encourage our guests to go into it, because of course the Atlantic Ocean is full of riptides, and it is really dangerous for swimming. But the river itself is a recuperation unto itself. Dominica has 365 rivers, all of them clean and beautiful. And we encourage our guests to just go in and just experience part of a very important part of life in Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I see one comment from the audience, and this is a participant who indicates that we should embrace opportunity and combine it with some of the new initiatives under UNESCO, such as the visit to geothermal sites, etc. So thank you all. As a reminder, we will have an opportunity for the audience to contribute to the discussion. So with that, I will wrap up this panel and introduce the next.
There is a question in the chat from Vanessa.
Excuse me?
There is a question in the chat from Vanessa to Kyle in the chat area. Before you go on to the next section.
I believe that Kyle can respond by typing directly in the chat because we really are pressed for time at this point. So Mr. Mays, I warmly invite you to respond by typing your response in the chat. There is a question for your attention as it relates to how the network raises funds to support enhancement projects. So I move on now to the second panel discussion or panel session on healing traditions and traditional medicines in CBT, community-based tourism, and agro-tourism. And to introduce this session, we will have a video presentation, and that is by Mr. Kelly McLean, the Oasis Barbados. And for the information of everyone, a transcript of the video is provided in the chat. So over to you, Sharon Coward. I believe you have the video queued.
Yes, one second. The transcript has been placed in the chat.
Oasis is like for healing. So journey plants is healing to me. You know what I mean? So it's like my vision is like by the time you enter is like automatically healing. It's like spiritual and also physical because it's the air. Mainly built for help people is healing. Because they got future plans for like even deeper things because the whole healing thing they're looking to set up. But it's work in progress still. This is just a scratch. It's just a scratch on the canvas. It's the whole nursery, the whole trail up Tree Hills is plants. This area right here is probably by neem tree and stuff. Yeah, that's like preparing plants to like indoor. Because neem tree is like a plant that's purify air also. So you can go in there and meditate. You actually heal yourself. You make all the plants out there just for breathing. Business. Right now, you don't look at this as business as work. This is just like my life. And my life was like, it was confusing because it was in the matrix, as they would call it. It was like super angry. It went to super angry, so I like my mind was in a different place. It was like really blocking that type of thing too. You know what I mean? But I realized that life ain't really enough. I really got a purpose and I really going away. It went through a lot of different things. It went through Christianity, it went through Rastafari, all different things. But I just surrendered the elements and identify ways. You know what I mean? Because nature don't tell us. So I strictly deal with nature, plants, and it's communicating with me. I went to super angry to super happy. Real thing.
And again, the transcript is included, but really what stands out is the emphasis on healing and connecting with nature. And from Mr. McLean's perspective, changing his lifestyle and embracing a more holistic approach. He went from super angry to super happy. And as we now delve into this session, it is important to note that for centuries, the descendants of the enslaved Africans have passed down from generation to generation various traditions that are still in use today. The knowledge and use of indigenous plants and herbs have remained as part of local folklore and are now being researched by scientists who are highlighting the benefits and healing properties of their use. In addition to traditional medicines, indigenous foods and traditional forms of food preparation are becoming part of the offerings to visitors for several community and agro-tourism initiatives. This panel will feature regional initiatives incorporating herbs, plants, agro-processing, and farm-to-table experiences. We will be graced by, with two presentations. Firstly, Mrs. Ina Harvey, International Agro-Tourism Specialist, and then Ms. Alyssa Sorrell, Operations Manager at Belmont Estate Grenada. Welcome, Mrs. Harvey, and over to you.
Thank you very much. In this very important audience, it is my pleasure to be here and to share some of my knowledge and experiences with you this morning. I'll put it on share screen. Amanda mentioned Africans, but I want to make a point that the Caribbean is such a sacred place, and we exist at the crossroads of the world's cultures through our history. So what do we offer in the Caribbean as a heritage wellness experience and fusion cuisine? Traditional healing is influenced by our Amerindian, our native people, Caribs, Arawaks, and if we stretch to Central America, especially Mayan culture, Aztec culture, Africa, from which we have the Maroons, the Garifunas, Rastafarian culture, Asian, Middle East, we had Chinese and Lebanese and Syrians come as traders, and of course, indentured laborers from India and our European colonizers. So we have a fusion of ancestral practices and a multi-ethnic impact on our cuisine, our heritage, how we live, and our culture. So I want us to keep that in mind, that wellness is holistic, and we are at the center of all this holistic experience. I'll look at the global health and wellness market and where traditional medicine sits, and share some community-based best practices. And I'm always a little wary of what best practices are because I have a background in benchmarking, and I try to show best practices that show this holistic approach, mind, body, spirit, and best practices not only at the community level and not only in the Caribbean, but also best practices at institutional levels. We heard about the Tourism Linkages Network in Jamaica, and that is in fact one of the practices that I'm going to talk about, and then some key takeaways. I know I have a very short time, so I'm going to go quickly. We saw from our featured speaker a huge global wellness economy, and I want to make a point that over 40% of pharmaceutical formulations are based on natural products, and over 80% of the world's biodiversity on which natural products are based are existing in our region. Many times we are complacent about this. We have one of the richest biodiversities in the entire world here in our region. Traditional medicine. The World Health Organization defines it as the sum total of knowledge, skills, and practices based on theories, beliefs, and experiences indigenous to different cultures, whether explicable or not, used in the maintenance of health, as well as in the prevention, diagnosis, improvement, or treatment of physical and mental illness. And the picture that I chose to put there is from Suriname, where they do an annual Sweetwater ceremony. especially before the new year, to put you in a good mood and to put you in good relations with your friends and family. Again, it's a bush bath. And spa, we talked a lot about spas this morning. The word spa really means salud per agua, health through water, and the bush bath is the original spa. Community-based health and wellness practices, and these two photos are from Belize, medicinal trails, as well as learning to make tortillas from scratch. Belize stands out as one of the best practice areas for their medicinal plant trails, for their herb centers, for their Maya traditions. And I remember years ago when I was consulting and I came across this book, Rainforest Remedies, Dr. Eligio Panti, who the master of rainforest remedies. And there was a whole line of things that you could buy in the airport shops, jackass bitter drops and so on that you can take for intestinal troubles and things for your skin and your health. And Maya tradition at the Herb Center also includes spiritual cleansing, herbal medicine preparation, massage, and so on. And we need to have our intellectual property documented and validated for these massages that we do. There's Swiss massage and all of these things. What about our massages? Mayan massage, Rastafarian massage, our own. Herbal bath cleansing, again, bush bath. Traditional Mayan ceremonies, bringing the ancestors and we honor them. Spiritual hike, we talked about walks, mountain meditation, being in that quiet space while we exercise. The Garifunas, we have a whole tradition of Garifuna and Maroons right across the Caribbean, and I'll hint a little bit when I talk about heritage roots later. This person at this mountain resort, Azu, offers a whole beautiful set of attractions, walking the talk, a 10-week bush medicine course. Aguni, where you see this tourist here is getting a bush bath again, herbal and ritual baths, Asupahani, pain seed removal, a consultation, a reading, plant medicine workshops, mountain spirit wellness retreats. And look at what it includes: luxury accommodations at the lodge at Big Falls, all ground transport, cultural immersion, sacred sites, vibrational eating. And we spoke a lot about how our gut health is so important for our overall wellness, coaching, and then a whole line of products. So we see the linkages between our ecotourism, our forest medicinals, and small business, and a whole line of products, soaps, oils, tinctures, tonics. Jamaica, of course, has a number of community-based traditional wellness experiences, and I came upon this one, a Rastafari Indigenous village. And again, it's sound healing, drumming, that vibration, ital cuisine, or exercise, yoga, music, and workshops with natural products. Let me make a point here. There's something interesting. I don't know how many of you look at cable TV. There is a channel that features food, Rastafari, not Rastafari, cannabis medicine as food now. Bon appetit. Look it up, B-O-N-G, bon appetit. In Barbados, we have a lovely Caribbean spa. And this is Mr. Andrews at Soothing Such Day Spa. And he uses all Caribbean products. He has his own little site now, a big site, I should say. He's moved into St. Joseph and he can even cook for you. So you have, again, that holistic experience of manicures, pedicures, massages, and look at how he uses the local ingredients and how he describes what he offers. Virgin coconut oil, deep tissue massage, grated coconut, mountain coffee, citrus peel, Guyanese rice bran, mango fruit puree, juicy guava and sapodilla body wrap. Sounds so lovely. Coming on to the links with our farm, and again, many persons mentioned farm retreats, going on a farm tour, eating healthy, nutritious, organic, going farm to table. And we have a lovely example here in Barbados called Peg Farm. And you can see from the photos, it's a biodynamic farm. You have pigs and cattle and chickens roaming freely, free range, what we used to call yard fowl, free range animals, and the children are really excited about this. And this is what I think is such an attractive feature of it, where we inculcate in children that love for knowledge about where your food comes from and nutritious eating and so on. We have a tsunami of NCDs in the Caribbean. Here in Barbados, 1 in every 3 children is clinically obese. That's a very sobering statistic. I have a beautiful restaurant, farm to table. In Jamaica, we have a similar experience, Tush in the Bush, and we have a Barbadian, Lisa Binns, who, together with her Rastafarian husband, offers a mix of chic and Rastafarian and a rural organic tourism experience. And you see what it is, a certified organic farm, organic gourmet products, accommodation, yoga, exercise, and you can just look. November, you can go visit and have a whole wellness experience, detox, and a range of beautiful products, all from wild crafted foods found there in the mountains. I love the name, Tush in the Bush. In Grenada, we have the Jessamine Eden Wellness Farm, and Dr. Valma Jessamy and her farms behind this wellness farm, which is actually a permaculture-based farm. They have an apiary, a river spa. There is even apitherapy, bee sting therapy at the riverside. Laboratories, and I put her phytomed honey herbal complex down there at the bottom. They now have a whole range of scientifically tested honey products. In fact, they won best honey in the world for many years from Eden Farms. And they also have over 100 species of medicinal plants, very well laid out to attract the apitourism and so on. Going a little bit out of the Caribbean, there's a bush tea route. When I was in Argentina, they had, I visited University of Buenos Aires and did a course there. And the Ruta de Yerba Mate really caught my attention. We have so many bush teas in the Caribbean, and the bush tea that is the iconic tea of the Southern Cone, which is Paraguay, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, Chile. This is their tea, and it's very cultural. You share, they make the tea from this yerba mate, and it has a lot of minerals, has a lot of caffeine. It really wakes you up. In Paraguay, they serve it cold. They call it mate tea, and you drink this first thing in the morning. You drink it all through your meetings. You share the cup around, a metal cup with a metal straw with a little strainer at the bottom to strain out the tea. And Paraguay actually has a Ruta de la Yerba Mate, as well as Argentina. There's no reason why we can't have national as well as regional bush tea routes. Moving a little more to the South Pacific, Kava Kava, which is almost the equivalent to North America's Prozac, has been used for calming and for creating euphoria, used for centuries across all of the islands in South Pacific, Samoa, Fiji, Vanuatu, Tonga, and so on. And you can see the traditional kava ceremony there with the men pounding the root of the kava, which is a plant related to dashin and edo and so on, but it is Dioscorea species, and they pound it in this lovely wooden vessel called a tanoa. And in some countries, in Tonga, for example, only the men drink kava. It's like going to Starbucks on a Friday afternoon, and they drink it. It's a sort of muddy-looking drink, and they drink and spit, but it gives you a euphoric state. And here we have tourists enjoying kava. When you leave the airport in Fiji, there's a whole range of kava products that you can buy, and you can buy online too. So we see that traditional medicine is now moving into value-added products and based on a traditional wellness and healing practice. Still in the South Pacific and Samoa, there is a women in development group called WIBD, and they make organic cold-pressed coconut oil. And for years, they negotiated with the Body Shop in the UK. And they eventually have a contract now where the UK uses only Samoa with the coconut oil for their products. In fact, the product that you see here was launched this year, this coconut bronze. So that coconut oil, which is used so much in the healing and the cuisine of the South Pacific Islands. Coconut has at least 67 scientifically proven coconut oil that is benefits. Coconut water, well, I wouldn't even start to talk about that. Coconut water all over the Caribbean now is the hydration drink, the drink that people use to restore their energy and their ions and so on. Body Shop has created this business opportunity for communities in Samoa through the Women in Business Unit. And in Samoa, we also saw that WIBD has been working a lot on their culinary tourism. In fact, I visited Fiji, Vanuatu, Samoa, and the whole rise in that culinary tourism has now become a whole flood. They even have an app for their culinary tourism in South Pacific. I recently came from the Middle East. I spent 3 months doing rural tourism on an FAO project in Saudi Arabia. Fascinating place, totally different world. While researching possibilities for rural tourism, I came across this and I thought, being islands, this looked interesting. Rural tourism in Morocco and in Saudi includes camel rides, traditional culture food in a desert camp like how the Bedouins do, and sunbathing, which is an ancestral practice. There are big fancy hotels, not only in Morocco, but in other parts of the Middle East, Egypt and so on, where they bury you in hot sand for a few minutes. Of course, it's managed by medicinal practitioners, and it's supposed to be effective against rheumatism, arthritis, back pain, and some skin diseases. Some practices at the institutional level now, and this is just a picture of all of the raw material ingredients that Steve Andrews uses in his Soothing Touch Day Spa. Let me first say that 88% of all countries who are members of the World Health Organization are estimated to use traditional medicine. That's not a little bit. 170 member states report that the use of traditional medicine, and they ask the World Health Organization to help them with evidence and data to inform policies, standards, and regulatory frameworks for safe, cost-effective, and equitable use. And this is a need if we are to develop this whole traditional medicine outside of the norm of our sun, sea, sand type of tourism, and to develop our community-based tourism and validate our patrimony and our ancestral heritage. And the last point here, the contribution of traditional medicine to the national health systems is not yet fully realized or documented. Millions of accredited traditional medicine workers, facilities, expenditures, and products are not fully accounted for. We do a lot of social accounting matrix, and the World Travel and Tourism Council talks about the economic contribution of tourism to our economies, but where would the data on where our traditional medicine and our traditional wellness tourism, where would that data be captured? And where would we realize what contribution and what part, important part, our traditional medicine and traditional healers and our intellectual property play in really making our tourism product authentic and sustainable. This I thought was interesting. The World Tourism Organization has a country agreement with India, and they've established the first and only global outposted center for traditional medicine across the world. The management of it, and Amanda asked Kyle just now about this tourism linkages network. A joint task force has been constituted to coordinate, execute, and monitor activities to establish this center. It includes government, World Health Organization, and it will identify various challenges. I would love to see another global center here in the Caribbean where we have such a critical mass of traditional healing based on all of the world's cultures. Jamaica, and it comes to what Kyle was saying, there's a health and wellness network of the Tourism Linkages Hub, and the whole Tourism Linkages Hub, Let me say that I think Jamaica is really advanced in its innovation and thinking with all of these linkages. And they are currently finalizing a national herbaceutical study, looking at the inventory and the assets, wellness assets across the country. Kyle mentioned the Health and Wellness Conference. This was the third conference. You can get it online. There's a link. JAMPRO has put out, all this 2015, but there is a strategy for health and wellness tourism. The ICA office in Jamaica since 2008 did a report on the feasibility of establishing a medicinal plants industry in Charlestown, and with an EU-funded project, established a 20-mile area in Buff Bay Valley, which included a maroon settlement, a bee center, a honey center, and so on. So you must look at what is happening in Buff Bay. And all of these things are but a part of what Jamaica is doing at the institutional level and partnership level to make traditional medicine and wellness part of that whole tourism product offering. Go as far as Slovenia now, AP tourism. We're pushing beekeeping right across the Caribbean. Recognition of honey as such an important product for our healing, for our wellness, and our cuisine has really risen the last few years. And Slovenia
1 minute left, Ina. So sorry to
Slovenia
interrupt.
is, don't worry, as the area for AP tourism. You can even lie down in a beehive, not in contact with bees, of course, and breathe in that warm bee air. And there is something called bee air inhalation. Look it up. You put on a mask with a special filter and you inhale the warm bee air, and it has been scientifically proven to help with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and so on, even in children, respiratory diseases. Critical success factors for Slovenia, again, public-private partnerships, and a lot of promotion, entrepreneurship, value addition. So we see where we can really make the industry happen. I know the CTO is interested in looking at heritage routes. Why not a maroon heritage routes? From Jamaica and Belize in the north, right down to Suriname and Brazil, where we can have heritage trail with wellness and cuisine and vibration and sound and songs and everything. Key takeaways: wellness is holistic. And therefore we need holistic solutions to advance the development of this sector. All travel is going to be wellness travel. And I think Kyle emphasized this. Developing our health and wellness tourism based on traditional practices offers significant linkage and investment opportunities, but we need to validate, and we need the R&D, the policy and institutional framework, regulation, certification, and that link into virtual experiences, innovation. And I want to end by just bringing it back to we culture. This is our thing. Since 1934, Bill Rogers in Guyana had a West Indian weed woman song. And Sharon, I think, please cue it up at 104. And I think you would recognize the song. This is not Harry Belafonte's tune. This is our own Bill Rogers from Guyana since the 1930s. Go ahead.
All that she called, but these were a few she had. Man, Piaba,
and on that note, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very, very much, Mrs. Harvey. As usual, such a wealth of information, regionally and internationally. Key takeaway being wellness is holistic, and that in the Caribbean, we are at the epicenter of health and wellness with some of the richest biodiversity in the world. So I now move on to Ms. Alicia Sorrell. I have the pleasure of inviting you to deliver your presentation. And Alicia is the operations manager at Belmont Estate in Grenada. Thank you. Over to you.
Hello, good morning to everyone, and hope you're doing well, and greetings from the beautiful island of Grenada. Let me get this up. Okay, so I know that we have limited time, so I'm going to try to speed things up and hope that you get an essence of what we're doing here and also in connection to the health and wellness. Okay, so first I'm just going to give you a brief history. Belmont Estate is located in the most rural part of Grenada, actually in the parish of St. Patrick, which is north of the island. It's about 1.5 hours away from St. George's, and it once played a major role in the Grenada's agricultural economy, and crops included nutmeg, cocoa, sugarcane, and bananas. It was purchased by a local family in 1942, and is still in the family today, and it diversified into tourism in 2002 using organic methods that were environmentally friendly while retaining the natural aesthetic environment, and also integrated the local culture and cuisine into the agri-tourism product. Okay, so
Excuse me, Alicia, maybe you can
Yes.
view in slideshow in terms of your presentation. So go to slideshow or from current slide. If you click from current slide, then we'll be able to see the presentation in slideshow view.
Okay, it's it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Going right along, we have a vision statement. This is our pledge to the nature and our people. And recently in our company's strategic objectives for 2023 to 2025, we revised our vision statement to reflect our stance in ensuring we live, work, and produce goods and services within a healthy, holistic environment. So very similar to our presentation from before, where we actually are working with 5 pillars. With organic and kosher certification, for example, where we have no GMOs and no inorganic chemical inputs. We're looking at a regenerative farming, prioritizing soil health, integrating animals, restoring ecosystems. We are looking at beyond fair trade, where we focus on love, respect, fairness, and development of our staff, family, and our community members. We're looking also at sustainable waste management, which is relatively new for the company, where we're looking at the compost, the more biodigesting, repurposing and reuse of recycling our waste. And we're also looking at the high value, low tourism impact. So we're reducing the impact by maintaining ecological balances, conserving heritage and culture, okay? So our immersive tours, we are basically 5 tours, but we also do curated tours based on what the guest is looking for. And it's all immersive, designed to fully engage your senses to learn about our history, our heritage, understanding our work, our identity. Our tours are hosted amid and around the estate in its serene surroundings. So first of all, we have the classic tour where you learn about the history of the estate, the process of fermenting and drying the beans to make our chocolate. All the guests have the opportunity to taste the raw cocoa, sample the cocoa tea, taste the chocolate, and it's basically along the whole value chain. And at the ending, it culminates in a chocolate factory. You also have a treater bar tour. So here now the guests can actually go into the fields and work with the farmers to harvest, to crack, to feel the cocoa and know exactly all the struggles that it takes to move from the farm back to the estate. All right, the treater bar merges our organic farming and also twins with the culinary treats, because at the ending of that tour, our guests are then escorted to our 250-seater restaurant. It's very open, it's very quiet, very serene, and they get to taste the food that's used, the items that's using from the farm. Okay, it's also include teas like lemongrass, bay leaf, soursop. The sky's the limit when it comes to us, especially we are also introducing something called nutmeg splash, where we're using the nutmeg pod and making drinks with it. We're trying to use every bit of our ingredients to ensure that we could get something out of it. We're also looking at our farm tour. So guests are given the opportunity to taste fruits, observe wildlife, take a walk along the river. And it's all about your sensory perceptions, creating a positive experience and the calming effect, especially in this volatile environment that we have at the moment. A goat dairy tour is another tour that we have and we offer. And that's relatively new, and people are very interested in the goat cheese making because we are the only persons at the moment that I know of that are making goat cheese on the island. And we also do school tours.
Alicia?
Yes, sir?
Sorry to trouble you. Could you
Yes,
forward
sir.
your slides, please? I think you were talking about your tour offerings.
Yes.
But we're not on that slide.
It could be the internet is giving a bit of problems.
Right, you just forwarded the slide. You can go from there, although if you put it on slideshow, maybe it would move along with you. The slideshow at the top. And then
are you seeing it now?
I'm seeing the presentation, but it's not in the presentation mode. But you continue. Once you can make sure that we're following by forwarding the slide. So we're on your tour offering slide now.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you see me going back on a far because there seems to be some problem, I'm just not too sure. Sorry.
Okay, no problem, my dear. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So with our tourism products, are you seeing the slide now?
Hi, listening to the student. As we had agreed, let me run the slides from this end for you. I'll keep it up a slide. Okay.
Okay. Let me know.
Just tell me when to advance to the next slide.
Okay, so we are going on to the tourism products. To the next slide. Okay.
We're on tourism products, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so all right, so in keeping with the core of healing traditions and traditional medicines in community-based tourism and agritourism, we'll focus briefly on how we incorporated traditional ways into our tourism products and showing the linkages between the farm and processing and into the farm-to-table experience. So we were driven by trying to find alternative solutions during the height of COVID-19. And we looked at our legacy and looked how we handled our organic soursop or organic bay leaves. And we created an organic line of teas, which we promote within our tours and in the dining room. And guests are able to experience it within, again, in that environmental setting. You can go to the next slide. Okay, the farm-to-table experience, here again, we take spices, leaves, like for instance, the moringa leaves, we incorporate it into our various menus. We look at jackfruit, which is really, really coming to be more popular. People are looking for more vegan options. Again, the whole health drive. And so we are trying our best to create like alternative pulled pork, for example, and it's very exciting. And from our end as well, we are also looking in-house to review our cooking methods. We are reviewing recipes to ensure our sugar and salt are drastically reduced. And we're also using and incorporating seaweed. So we do a delicious seaweed salad. If you're in Grenada, come on down and try it out. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay, now we're going to touch a little bit our community engagement, and we looked at it in-house. And in keeping with our vision, we hosted a health fair recently, inviting all our staff and their families to come together to check their health and to manage their issues. I want to note that 95% of our staff come from around the neighboring communities, because Belmont Estate is one of the pillars within the community to provide the majority of work. And it was entitled to Step to Wellness, and we covered blood pressure testing, testing cholesterol, testing vision. We also encouraged our staff to come to get massages so that they could experience what the wellness was about. And we even had dance exercise sessions. We are also collaborating with the University of Manitoba from Canada with birding festivals, because we will also want to draw the community to get involved in learning about the environment, learning about our birds and its natural habitats. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay, I highlighted a few of the successes, the challenges, and the lessons learned based from the tour experience and trying to connect it to the wellness aspect. It has become a positive, it has impacted positively on our finances. People are coming, they want to do the tours, and sometimes we just don't have enough tour guides in order to facilitate the request. Wellness tourism is an allure, and again, since COVID, and as COVID continues, we are seeing more persons that want to come and be in nature. They want to get away from the busyness in St. George's and they want to come up, even though sometimes the drive is a bit daunting around our winding roads. And one of the successes, we saw a drastic improvement in our staff awareness, all about rejuvenation and wellness. But with that comes the challenges. Our challenge is to continue to maintain our environment. We do have a shortage of labor due to the aging factor, again, in our farms, and our young people, thank you, and our young people moving to more the industrial aspect and then moving away from farming. So it's all about changing the culture towards a healthier lifestyle. But within those challenges, we see it as opportunities for us to grow. Our lessons learned, collaborations are key in this environment. Education, we must educate our young people. And nutritional transparency, because with health and wellness, we must be able to show our guests and whoever's visiting that we are doing our nutritional tests, we are being approved, and we are looking to become more certified in that area. And it's all about innovation. We're going to take things what our grandmother, our great-grandparents used, and we're going to try to bring it back in with a new angle, basically. All right, and thank you very much. I think that's my time is up, and I just want to thank CTO and Marvel for inviting Belmont Estate to be part of the panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alicia. Belmont Estate is award-winning, including it is one of the winners of our Agro-Tourism Award, as well as an Excellence in Innovation Award, which was sponsored by UNDP. So it's always interesting to hear and realize that Belmont continues to innovate in terms of agritourism, community linkages, and health and wellness. Thanks also for sharing some of the challenges and lessons learned. We have a few minutes. I will see if there are any questions in the chat. Perhaps one question, either you or Ina, who may be interested or able to answer this question, which is that we almost always pair wellness with health. So we speak about health and wellness. Is it possible to refer to one without the other, or are the terms complementary? So perhaps even in terms of your offerings, Alicia, that speaks to wellness broadly, and Ina, from your really expert perspective, any insights as it relates to this?
Oh, okay, can I go first then? I do have to leave. I'm sorry, Amanda. Things have changed a bit. Thanks for the opportunity. Health tourism is separate from wellness tourism in the classical definitions. Health tourism often relates to medicinal type tourism, where people would travel for medical reasons to come for and so on. For example, here in Barbados, we have a fertility clinic where people would come for fertility reasons and so on. Latin America is huge on breast implants. There, you can go there and do it very cheaply and so on. So health tourism often refers to specifically medical tourism. Health and wellness sometimes are grouped together because they're not mutually exclusive. Wellness is holistic and embraces health. So wellness has body, mind, spirit, which eventually gives you good health. But health tourism and wellness tourism sometimes tend to be, from my reading and from my understanding, tend to be treated
separately. But more and more you find, as I said, all travel is going to be wellness travel. In Saudi Arabia, for example, with the AP tourism, I met a beekeeper who charges 3,000 reales. A real is 3.75 to 1 US, that's about 1,000 US, a little under, for AP therapy, where he uses bee stings, live bees, bee stings, to treat Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis. And again, for bee ear inhalation, he carries around a little beehive, a single hive, and a mask, and you can have a bee ear inhalation thing. So again, it's your health, it's a disease condition, and for wellness. But more and more, the lines are becoming blurred. I have to leave now. Amanda knows where to find me. If anybody has more questions, you'll have the presentation. It's been a real pleasure. And this is one of my favorite topics. I'm steeped in finding out about my ancestral roots and traditional healing and wellness. So thanks again for the opportunity, Amanda, CTO, and everybody. Great presentations. And let me know if there are any questions or comments that I need to follow up on. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Ina. Have a lovely day. Before we move on to the next session, do you have anything to add, Alicia, or any final comments? Really briefly, though.
No, I think Ina said it well. I know that there are blurred lines between health and wellness, and maybe from Belmont's aspect, we're looking more focusing on the wellness, which is more about the natural environment and the serenity and the rejuvenation. The health aspect, we are slowly getting involved, but that takes a lot more of research about nutritional facts and so we're easing our way into that, but we are supporting the wellness aspect. So I hope that, but Ina said it perfectly otherwise.
Excellent, thank you very much. And we move now to the third and final panel session on alternative therapies in health and wellness tourism. And with the increasing emphasis on health and wellness, which we've spoken about, a notable trend has been the growing desire and demand for healing practices that are focused on improving general health and well-being. Similarly, there has been an increased interest in alternative therapies, which are aligned to a more holistic approach to wellness, with equal emphasis on mind, body, and soul or spirit healing. This panel session will explore various practices being integrated as part of local tourism offerings. And I'm very pleased to welcome Ms. Zara Duncombe, who will touch on the Caribbean Spa and Wellness Association, the importance of linkages, and share insights on this topic of alternative therapies. And we will have a presentation by Mr. Brian Gomez, the owner of Azure Experiences in Guyana, and they will highlight some of these alternative therapies that they're offering. And this panel will culminate with a talk and video presentation from Mr. Tom Hines, owner of Naniki, Barbados. So welcome, Zara Duncombe, and over to you.
Thank you, Amanda. I'll just share my screen quickly. I know we're pressed for time, but I will try to be as quickly as possible. All right, so thank you once again, CTO, for inviting me to be part of this discussion. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I want to, of course, acknowledge all of the panelists and all of the persons who presented prior to me, because a lot of what I will touch on, some of it has been addressed in different capacities, but at the end of the day, we're all here to talk about wellness tourism beyond the norm. So what I will start by saying is that I come from a different perspective. Currently, I was asked to be the head of the task force to revitalize the currently dormant Caribbean Spa and Wellness Association, but my day job and another hat that I wear is I am actually a business strategist who works specifically with spa and wellness business owners and operators to help to make their business more efficient and profitable and also being more sustainable. So my perspective on this topic is twofold. I see it as wellness from a standpoint of the corporate possibilities when there are resources available, as well as the natural potential of the unique gifts that our region has. So that is why when I was asked to be part of this, I thought it'd be interesting to see where this presentation or where this conversation takes us. What I'll start by saying is that in our push to go beyond the norm, I believe that we're at a turning point, and sometimes we forget, but from the first visitor to our region who came for restoration and healing to the visitor who has spent all year researching the best place to go for anxiety and depression, the intent behind our tourism offering as a region has not changed. It has evolved, but the root of it has always been healing. I know Ms. Harvey mentioned the definition, but also the Latin perspective, which is sanitas per aquam, it definitely means healing by water. Spa and wellness has always been married because the aspect of spa that is traditionally or has traditionally been prevalent has been one where you go for healing. Right. So what we noticed as well, and I think Ms. Best had mentioned it. Okay, well, these are the discussion points. I just started talking, right? Because I'm going quickly. But I wanted to give you a little synopsis of what the Global Wellness Institute says based on the Latin America and Caribbean economy. These are some of the highest sectors based on spend. So personal care and beauty, eating healthy and nutrition, wellness and weight loss are two of the highest categories of which people spend on in our region. Of course, they mush us all together with Latin America, but the perspective still remains the same. And of course, on a smaller category, you have physical activity, public health, wellness, tourism, mental wellness, and spas down there. And this is all in the $1 billion. Now, having said that, we can think from as high as Bimini in the Bahamas to the lowest point in our region as Guyana, there is representation of personal care and beauty from the handmade products, the artisans that we have that use local and indigenous products, local and indigenous ingredients to make products. And we could stop it there, but we won't, because at the end of the day, what we also have to remember and acknowledge is that we are more than just a product making region. Right now, we have two things to understand about beyond the norm and about what we offer as a region. And one of them I would say is that with the rise in the Airbnb and the demand in local dining experience, we also find that apart from the personal care, our eating healthy and nutrition perspective is also evolving, where farm to table and local spots are more at the forefront. You only have to look at YouTube to see persons going to different countries and reveling in dining and having the local experience as opposed to the formal fine dining experience to see how important healthy eating, nutrition, and weight loss is. Now, of course, we all remember the great pause because it wasn't so long ago, and that was COVID-19. And what we found is that there has been a shift in perspective when it comes to the client. And I wanted to touch a little bit on client preference because it definitely is the foundation for which we have to set a precedent for the type of services that we offer. So what we found is that client demand for deeper experiences when they travel has become more of a forefront, especially since COVID-19 and especially since isolation was the name of the game. What we find is that now that there has been a push to travel, even though there was a contraction in traveling for a 2-year period, and our region did see the significant change in travel, for the resorts and destinations that market themselves as wellness experiences, this no longer stops at having a massage on the beach or a sunrise yoga class. It translates to services that infuse local surroundings, indigenous practices, and takes care of not just physical, but mental and energetic aspects for the wellness traveler. This might look like pot recreation from local mud pools, sound meditation therapy with instruments made from seeds and shells harvested in nearby forests, or even outdoor art therapy campsites. We don't have to look far for these type of experiences, as our diversity as a region allows us to pull from a callaloo pot of practices that can be shared with our clients. The availability of these experiences has always been there. And I believe that the one speed bump that we have is that the experience might not always meet the standards of a discerning traveler, or it might not be consistent from country to country. I know that there's still a rusticness, quote unquote, of some of our wellness experiences, which sometimes makes it inaccessible for a segment of potential travelers. This might require us to explore landscape and terrain that might not be previously considered for a larger group of people. As we've seen in presentations before, this is a $1 trillion industry, and there are different types of wellness travelers that we have to consider that are coming to our region. Secondly, experiences that are built into creating more of a transformation than just a superficial experience. So when you talk about mental wellness, physical well-being, health improvement, or managing lifestyle illnesses, this will continue, especially because developed countries are infusing these practices into things like workplace contracts, into government policies, which allow employees and allow persons in the society to benefit from wellness practices or wellness services as covered by the company or part of insurance. Those are things that are going to be part of the reason why persons make a decision to come to our industry, especially when we have accessibility and we take into consideration these things, right? Thirdly, I will say social media. Now you might be thinking, what does social media have to do with this? A lot. 2 years ago, the impact of social media was not as obvious to why people make decisions. But when people had no other choice, it became a little bit more important. Post-COVID, the average visitor who is looking for a fully immersible detox retreat doesn't just read a TripAdvisor anymore. They go straight to TikTok, they go to Instagram, and they see what the user experience is. And when I say the user experience, they see real time what people who are actually using the product or service are enjoying. And they also get a more authentic feel of who this person is. You could just go to YouTube to see videos getting 500,000 views of a single traveler traveling to the hills just to explore a maroon herbal medicine practice. And you'll see the impact of social media and digital marketing and digital media presence. And sometimes when we think about wellness, we think, okay, it's best kept secret. It's wellness that is, you have to go find it. We have to remember that with social media, with everything at our fingertips, sometimes as a region, we might overlook the importance of having a digital footprint to complement our sustainability. Fourthly, I will say home care. With COVID-19, it encouraged potential clients and visitors to turn self-care into a lifestyle, which means that there was a need for products and personal care that would be more thoughtfully sourced, results-driven, and inspired by local surroundings. As you see, we do not lack that at all. But what we do need to remember is that we must incorporate, or we must find a way to ensure that the home care leaves our properties and leaves our spas and our facilities and is able to be taken home for the experience to be continued when the visitor leaves our properties and leaves our countries. As the visitor that travels is more aware and informed, and as such, our products and services and standards must also rise and exceed the expectations where necessary. So those are just some of the things I wanted to point out as it relates to what people are looking for in terms of experiences, accessibility to well-being, and most importantly, unique, impactful, inspiring, and memorable. People don't just want to travel just for the rum and revelry anymore, but we have to remember that we started there, right? So I think sometimes it came full circle. It wasn't that we healing experience as a region, and we evolved based on demand, and now we're back here again. And what we have to be is ready for the business of wellness tourism, because we do have many fantastic properties, fantastic regions, fantastic countries that are doing so much. And on another hand, we have some that not necessarily struggling, but the quality of the product might vary depending on where you go. And these inconsistencies will create gaps in what the consumer is looking for. So in terms of alternative therapy, there are 4 main categories. I know it mentioned mind, body, I mentioned sound separately because sound is becoming a lot more important, and nature. I put nature as a separate category because as a region, we benefit from having a natural resource. All of our countries are different and unique and similar all in one. But at the end of the day, nature in itself provides you with the alternative or the option to take one might be a simplistic experience and turn it into a more holistic experience just by taking it from indoors to outdoors. And as you know, we're not short of outdoor spaces, but of course it means making sure that it complements the type of client that we're looking for. Or sorry, the type of client who is in alignment with the service product that we offer. And of course, when it comes to body, what we've also found is that there was a contactless or touchless period in the last 2 years where spas were trying to figure out how do we still make a living while being touchless and contact free. And there has been an increase in technology being introduced into the treatment rooms and into spas. And that has been as high tech as LED and light therapy, color therapy, and as simplistic as salt therapy or aromatherapy, but allowing persons the opportunity to have a hands-free experience infused into a spa experience is something that has definitely emerged over the last, I would say before COVID, but it has definitely become a little bit more important when we were pressed and trying to figure out how do we still maintain COVID guidelines while still being open for business and allowing people to make some money. So that has been introduced when it comes to the physical touch of your body services, whether it be massage or massages or facials. I'd also mention as it relates to body, this is where we have done very well with our products. So we have a lot of handmade, artisan, homemade or farm to table type products. And this is something that is both a blessing and an opportunity for us, because as a blessing, we have definitely remained natural and true to who we are as a region that embraces its authenticity. But if we're going to compete on a global market, we have to look at sometimes the speed bumps that we create for ourselves, because if we're competing globally with the markets like Europe and Asia, where their products are export ready, their products are standardized, their products are consistent, and their products are accessible, we sometimes have to look at this as an opportunity to create more sustainability for our local brands, but we still have to look at export potential. Some product lines have done very well when it comes to body care, but there is definitely a big gap as it relates to facial care and results-driven skincare. We still, most spas here, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, most spas in our region still depend on importation of specific types of product or specific types of raw material to create the handmade products that we have. Unfortunately, some of our countries don't grow or manufacture or harvest all ingredients necessary for international standard product. And as a result, it still puts us in a position where we want to maintain our carbon footprint and be sustainable, but we still have to import things to keep the lights on. As we move forward, wellness being the new normal. Now, of course, many persons have mentioned this before, and my job here is to just reiterate that wellness being the new normal is not just for the visitor who's coming to our shores or for the person coming into our spas, but wellness is the new normal for us as an industry to embrace well-being as part of who we are. And we have to look at changing how we market ourselves or how we distribute or offer our services to potential clients. So it's no longer just about the one-off massage or the one-off yoga class, but we have to look at themed group retreats, themed based on lifestyle issues. So people are now looking for specific experiences. So if someone has, for example, anxiety and depression, or there's somebody who is battling with Crohn's disease or a specific issue, these issues now, apart from one-on-one treatments, group themed retreats, one-on-one guided tours and immersive experiences for which we have the facilities, mind therapy as it relates to not just meditation, but mindfulness as it relates to guided meditation. We did a 1-minute mindfulness a while ago, but there are some spas that have the opportunity to actually program headpieces and give to their clients either before or after services to allow them to continue with the meditation practice. Now, apart from that, you have, of course, as I mentioned before, the touchless healing modalities. And most importantly, which is why we're talking about alternative therapies, is creating the holistic feel. And holistic just means everything together as a whole. Sound, water, earth, nature, immersive experiences. The spa experience is traditionally sensory. So when you think of all of the senses, what can we do to ensure that even the simplest activity that a client or potential visitor is coming to your spa to have, how can that one simple service still be holistic? Even if it's a massage, even if it's a facial, even if it's is coming just to have a dining experience, making it as sensory as possible in the simplest and detailed way to give you the opportunity to have a different experience from what is considered standard and normal. We have a lot of standard, we have a lot of normal, and we are moving beyond the norm. And that's these are some of the ideas that we have to incorporate in our service and our product offerings that will help us. Our advantages, of course, natural.
Only really you're over time now. It's so interesting, but I hope you'll
not a problem.
Okay.
And this is where we wrap up. What is required? Standards. We have to ensure that our standards across the board are consistent, which was one of the reasons why the Caribbean Spa and Wellness Association was created, is to see if there was an opportunity for us to advocate for standards across the region. Results-driven products, it's not just okay to have frou-frou surface level products anymore. We have to have results-driven products and a more sustainable approach, managing our carbon footprint. And in conclusion, last thoughts, I know I skipped a whole bunch, but I want to get to the last point. We have the greatest potential for products and alternative therapies because we're still considered a new, even though we have been around for a while, compared to the rest of the global wellness market, we're still new in specific areas. And we have to be ready to do business as a wellness sector, not just ready to offer services, but ready to do business in a continuously growing global market. Plus, I will say that more representation is needed for people to see all these things that we're talking about here. Some of them today is the first day people have heard about them, and they are amazing products. And we have to look at wellness as a region during what I consider now as the great rebound. We went through the great pause. Now we're going through the great rebound. And I would like to thank you for your time. I sped through that a while ago, but I do appreciate the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And I am open for questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. This really was excellent. Well, firstly, I would like to just kindly request from the attendees to give us another, I would say 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes to receive the final 2 presentations. And I think though we will have a part 2 of this discussion on health and wellness, and really taking the recommendation of Zara as wellness being the great rebound. And it really has to be as we seek to reposition the region. So in the remaining minutes, we will receive the final 2 presentations, Mr. Gomez and then Mr. Hines, and we will have a part 2. I think we will re-invite Zara to really share some of what we may have missed. And then we'll have an opportunity as well for countries and individuals to share and provide updates on their various initiatives. So with that, I will hand over and warmly welcome Mr. Brian Gomez, owner of Azure Experiences in Guyana, a practitioner that will share some of the amazing initiatives related to wellness tourism and this whole idea of alternative therapies that are being offered. Over to you, Mr. Gomez.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us and giving us the opportunity for being part of this forum. Amazing presentation so far. The information has been, wow, out of this world. So my name is Brian Gomes. Just allow me to first share my screen. Yes, so my name is Brian Gomes, and I'm here with my wife, Adriani Gomes, and together we are the co-owners of Azure Experiences. Azure Experiences we're a very young company. We've only received our license to operate tours in Guyana earlier this year. So we are a very young company, learning a lot, and the information that we were exposed to in this forum will be really useful for us going forward. I would like to talk about the Yoga Breakfast Nature Walk experience. It's one of the experiences that we offer at Azure Experiences. It's in line with the forum that we have that we're on today. We have a lot of other tours, but we are going to be focusing on the Yoga Breakfast Nature Walk. Now, I would like to hand you over to my wife. She's a certified yoga instructor, very experienced. She has about 7 years practicing and teaching yoga. So I'm going to hand you over to her, and she's going to take you through the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Good day. Thank you so much for having us once again. As you mentioned, my name is Adrienne Gomes, but you can call me Annie. And I am happy to share with you guys today about one of the experiences we have here at Azure called Yoga Breakfast and Nature Walk. But before we get into that, let us do a couple of breaths just to center ourselves. So we'll take a deep breath or two just by starting. We want to sit nice and tall. We want to feel ourselves in our body at this time. And if you want, you can close your eyes or you can just gaze at the screen. Place one hand on the heart, one in the belly. We'll take 3 deep breaths. Inhale and release. Inhale and let go. And inhale and release. Excellent. Now that you're here, let's bring our right hand up. Bring the 2 fingers close. The second, and the middle finger. We're going to cover our nostril, our right nostril. Inhale through the left. Hold both nostrils closed. And exhale through the right side. So we'll inhale through the right nostril now. Hold both nostrils closed. And exhale through the left. Very good. And so if you take nothing else away today, you can take those 2 breath practices with you. The next time you're in a stressful situation, you're in a tough spot and you want to feel yourself centered, grounded, and calm, those 2 breath practices will be excellent and get you there. So we get into our presentation for today. What we are as Azure Experiences, a little about us. So Azure Experiences is a licensed tour operator, and we were launched in May of last year, of course, post-pandemic, and co-owned by myself and my husband, who are both avid nature enthusiasts. We set out on this journey to showcase the best of what Guyana has to offer with new, innovative, and creative moments that are sure to leave hearts absolutely in love with our tropical paradise here in Guyana. Guyana's natural beauty is nothing short of amazing. From our diverse flora and fauna to the rich cultures and colors of our people, it is no surprise that Guyana has been ranked as the #1 ecotourism destination in the world. The untapped potential of this Amazon beauty has marveled every soul that has ever experienced our native land. And so certainly not your average tour. What we are crafting here goes beyond the description of tours. We are crafting experiences that will stay with people for generations. At the core of who we are, we love what we do. Myself and husband, we are both very avid followers of all things nature and all things wellness and health. So between myself and my husband, we have about 17 years of of being in active involvement in yoga and hiking and nature and all things therapeutic. And so at our core, we love what we do. Go back. At our core, we love what we do. And we
are happy to share these experiences and to create a powerful and a positive impact on our nation's growth and our overall economic development and wellness here in the Caribbean and Latin America as a whole. So next slide, please. Thank you. So why Azure Experiences? We have our tagline here at Azure Experiences, more than a tourism experience. Reason being, we've come to realize that a lot of the times, as was so graciously mentioned by many folks earlier, we've gone beyond just having tours and just having, sightseeing and little events and things like that. It has been an absolute privilege to watch how tourism has been growing the world over, especially here in our neck of the woods. And so we really aim to offer and craft experiences that incorporate things that we both are passionate about, things that we both want to see brought to the experiences and to the minds and to the hearts of peoples, of families, of friends, of all groups and types of humans around the world. So by extension, we are recreating tourism experiences from a passionate standpoint. We're not just offering you things that we want to offer you because we're in a hurry to make a quick buck, or we just want to do something because we're bored. We actually love what we do and we believe in what we do. And as is obvious by our 17 years combined experience in what we've been doing, these experiences are coming to you from a place of passion and a place of love. So therefore, it's well thought out. We take our time, we craft our experiences, and we put a lot of energy and a lot of effort, and we want to give all gratitude right now to the Guyana Tourism Authority for supporting us along this journey. And therefore, we are rethinking tourism as it stands, all in theme with what we are talking about here today in this world. So with that little background given, we'll talk a little about Yoga Breakfast and Nature Walk experience. So I'll read this. Have you ever noticed how happy you are when you're surrounded by nature? I want to stick a pin here. In many indigenous towns that are, across the world, there is no separate word for humans and nature. Humans and nature comes from our colonial language expression, which we can't run away from. But in actuality, there is no difference between a human being and nature. We're all one and the same. We're all a part of the great ecosystem of life, if you want to call it that way. And so once you're home, back to your origins, with our Yoga Breakfast and Nature Walk experience, we rejuvenate in a variety of scenic locations. Guyana is not short of amazing sceneries. So all around Guyana's tropical forests, we capture Mother Nature's essence with mindful breath, body movement, sound therapy, and a glorious breakfast feast. And of course, this comes highly recommended for corporate and for team building and for stress relief programs. So a little bit of the itinerary, very quickly. We begin at sunrise, and then we indulge in a light and healthy refreshment, generally fruit tea or fruit juice. And we enjoy a rejuvenating 1 hour beginner, very beginner yoga session led by myself. And then you trek with us through the forest trails with gentle, guided, mindful movement meditation. After that, we savor a hearty breakfast feast created by an internationally trained chef, Kester, who's amazing. And we share a moment, of course, with ourselves, with our little community that we have. We relax, we network, we connect to our heart's content, and then we return home feeling fresh, renewed, and energized. And so we'll play a little video here, just a little snippet of what it's like to be a part of our Yoga Breakfast and Nature Walk experience. right. And so that was our video. And so again about the team, myself, Imani Gomes, I am a certified and registered with the Yoga Alliance globally as a registered yoga teacher and a yoga instructor. And my husband here is a trained tour guide and a professional photographer and videographer. And Kester Robinson, of course, our internationally trained chef, who could not be here today, but yes, that is our team. And so in closing, we just want to show another little clip for you guys on something that we've been quietly working on. And we're happy to basically kind of launch it here today. And just a little background, Guyana has many amazing regions, of course, blessed by the Amazon. And so one of those regions is the region of Rupununi. And so some of the most amazing sunsets in the world, some of the most amazing sunrise, some of the most amazing mountain views, and everything nature and beautiful can be found here in the Rupununi. So here's a short video of something we've been working on that we want to launch and have as a part of our belt of experiences here at Azure.
Hi, Annie. Pause the video for a bit, please. Pause the video because we're not seeing the video. You have to stop sharing your screen and then share again and select wherever you're playing the video from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see the video now?
Yes, you can see the video.
Okay. All right, so that was just a tiny snippet of what is to come for us here at Azure Yoga in the Rupununi. And with that, I want to close. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank you.
Namaste, and yeah, we're open for questions.
Thank you very much to Annie and Brian Gomes, not Gomez. So really enjoyed the mindfulness practice at the start and the integration of the videos in your presentation, and definitely as your experiences offers more than a tour, it is an experience. We move now to the final presenter, Mr. Tom Hines, owner of Naniki Barbados. And welcome, Mr. Hines, over to you.
Are you seeing me?
Yes, yes, I can.
But thank you so very much. This was a very enlightening session. And let me see if I can pull up my video. Here we are. Are we there?
Yes, I'm running your video for you. Are you ready for it to show?
I'm not hearing you. Sorry.
I'm running your video for you. Do you want me to show it now?
And yes, you may.
Okay, I will.
Thank you very much for that. One of the things that I'd like to share with, I know that a lot has been said about the endless possibilities of health and wellness tourism and the new rebound, as was alluded to by one of our panelists. And I'm certain with the whole idea of solar energy, battery storage resistance, only because I think that is important that with all of these wonderful properties that we have, we are in the hurricane belt, and we need to pay attention to what if. And I thought that I just recently embarked on, it has not even been completed as yet, but we are looking to build out 4 11 kilowatt off-gen systems that will pretty much ensure that the entire property would be able to function in the event that we have inclement weather. And I thought that it is important that this aspect of everything that we want to do in the future is taken care of.
Sorry to interrupt you. Would you like me to run your PowerPoint for you as well, or you'd like to do that?
Okay. So yeah, you seen my second slide?
No, let me put it up for you. You can just.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I can run it for you.
Health and wellness modalities. Are you seeing that one? Hello?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we're seeing it now.
Okay. So we offer at Naniki ozone sauna therapy. For those of us who might not be aware of ozone, it's the third atoms, in other words, O3, as opposed to O2, which is oxygen. And the benefits from that treatment is really mind-boggling. It has the ability to remove toxins from the body, build your immune system, and a myriad of conditions it can treat. It is the picture on the chamber is on the left, and on the 3 images at the top. Forest bathing is becoming a treatment of the cleansing of the mind, and it has all to do with being immersed in the forest and taking full advantage of the natural surroundings. I mentioned was made in the past in one of the presentations about sound, and as we speak, I can hear the wind blowing through the fronds of the trees, which creates a sound like rain. So that is all part of the therapy. Yoga, not too much that I can add to yoga that wasn't said before. It's a feature that is being sought after when persons enter into a wellness space. We have hiking and biking trails, similar to, I suppose, what you would see in Guyana and some of the more forest type areas around the Caribbean. We also offer reflexology, we offer massage therapy, and there's a whole idea of trying to find a way of bringing that holistic approach to everything that we offer here. I haven't mentioned about the food, which I will do now. If you could go to the next slide, please. We have a restaurant at Naniki. We are in the process of establishing our organic farm. So the whole idea of farm to table would be pretty much at the top of the list. We will be growing our root crops, herbs, and vegetables. And I must add that the idea of Naniki being a holistic space gives us the opportunity really to offer persons who are staying in our cottages that opportunity to get their hands dirty in tending to some of the crops that we will be growing, and that experience alone has a very calming effect on persons who are seeking this type of experience. I go to the next slide quickly. Ina talked about the honeybee production in the Pacific, and one of the areas I think that provides a lot of opportunity is for honeybee or apiary production in the Caribbean as well. We're set in a forest, so immediately you know that we have a large forage area for the bees. And I made mention to filled honey, which is the aroma of the honey that is produced in this general area because of the abundance of fiddlewood trees. And one of the things that we'd also be looking into quite shortly is an observation center so that persons can come and see how these creatures really make an impact and how they provide, and we would also speak to how they provide and their importance, I should say, to food or food production in the region, or well, in the world, really. I know that we are pressed for time, so I'd like to just wrap up by saying that everything that we do here is really inspired by the forests, and because we are embarking every day on ways to follow that path of being an eco type of not only an economy, but also an eco type of existence, and presenting to our guests the perfect getaway and in this little tiny Barbados. I want to say thanks so very much for inviting me to participate in this forum. I was especially pleased to see Ina, and I know that once I saw her as a panelist, I'm not surprised that she would have been able to bring all of her experiences working with ICA to fill her wonderful presentation. Thank you so very much once again, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hines, who really is the who Naniki Barbados is the brainchild of Mr. Hines, and as he would have shared, it is forest inspired and eco-driven, located in the Atlantic coast in the parish of St. Joseph in Barbados. And thank you for sharing the various therapies that you offer, including forest bathing, something that is gaining increasing popularity. And it was very interesting to hear of the educational farming and dining experiences that you also offer. I really would like to thank everyone for staying with us, and we will move now to the closing remarks. I don't see any questions in the Q&A, so I think we will be well timed to conclude at 1 p.m. And I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Sharon Banfield Bovell, who is the Director for Resource Mobilization and Development at the Caribbean Tourism Organization, who will deliver closing remarks and a vote of thanks. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience and for staying with us. This has indeed been a morning, a forum filled with amazing information. And as Amanda said, there must be a part 2, because I think there are areas that you want to hear more about. And so that is a challenge that you have brought to the table, because I've seen some of your comments in terms of wish there was more time, and we do wish there was more time. So we will have to work on a part 2 for you. But in closing, we just wanted to say that the Global Wellness Institute defines wellness tourism as travel associated with the pursuit of maintaining or enhancing one's personal well-being. It brings the promise of combating those negative qualities associated with everyday life, with travel seen as an opportunity to maintain and be able to improve our holistic health. The Institute has predicted a surge in wellness tourism due to pent-up demand in 2020 and 2021. And furthermore, researchers have projected an annual growth rate of 21% through to 2025, and you've heard that today in the various presentations. And this is based on new travelers' values, which are driving that demand, such as seeking nature and interest in sustainability, community engagement, all of the wonderful topics that were shared here today in the various presentations. The theme of today's forum, Wellness Tourism Beyond the Norm, examined the region's contribution to this growing niche, with specific focus on recuperative health, traditional medicines, and alternative therapies. The first panel on recuperative wellness explored how the Caribbean's nature-based assets, our love for the outdoors and chill, yet active lifestyles can serve to bring rejuvenation, relaxation, and recovery to those who are seeking these restorative experiences. We were treated to presentations from the Body Holiday, St. Lucia, and the Rosalie Bay Eco Resort and Spa Dominica, 2 accommodation facilities operating under the wellness brand, which are successful at targeting and attracting the wellness market. We were also introduced to the Jamaica Health and Wellness Network, a regional best practice taking root in various destinations across the region. The second panel focused on healing traditions and traditional medicines. Traditional remedies have been passed down from our ancestors to current generations through a rich oral tradition in each island of the Caribbean. These traditions, which have been used for healing within our communities for centuries, are now being shared with visitors, giving the growing recognition and appreciation globally of the merits of traditional healing modalities. So this transition presents an opportunity for locals to share their traditional medicines and healing traditions for ailments from common colds to arthritis. Another consumer shift is that the traveler is keen to eat healthier for themselves and for the planet. In addition, the healing properties of indigenous foods and traditional forms of food preparation is a yet untapped market opportunity as visitors seek to emulate the longevity of the Caribbean people. So as exemplified by the 2 in-depth presentations received from both Mrs. Ina Harvey, International Agritourism Specialist, as well as Ms. Alicia Serrao, Operations Manager at Belmont Estate, Grenada, agrotourism and farm-to-table experiences give the consumer the opportunity to immerse themselves in the local community and to share in what that community grows and eats. Noteworthy was the growing demand for fresh, local, and organic products, which are ethically sourced or grown. The third panel on alternative therapies explored the holistic approach to health catering to mind, body, and soul. Now, in the Caribbean, the emphasis in this area has been on experiences such as forest bathing and rewilding, unwinding, and eat, rest, and play activities, all which offer participants an opportunity to connect with their inner selves. We heard from experts and practitioners, including the Caribbean Spa and Wellness Association, Barbados, Azure Experiences Guyana, and Aniki Barbados. These best practice models provided insight into some of what can be offered to visitors seeking alternative wellness services and therapies within our region. We hope that the various presentations shared here today and the discussions will stimulate ideas and assist in identifying opportunities to utilize the assets in your individual territories to further develop and or enhance wellness tourism in the Caribbean. Additionally, that we would have inspired some sort of action towards fulfilling the vision of positioning the region as a wellness tourism destination. I now have the pleasure of delivering the vote of thanks. And firstly, let me say a big thank you to our feature speaker, Stephanie Rest, founder of Caribbean Wellness and Education, for sharing this information with us on the topic of the true essence of wellness tourism. Thanks also to the panelists who delivered such inspiring presentations under the first panel session on recuperative wellness. Thanks to Giselle Stephen, the marketing manager at the Body Holiday St. Lucia, Avril Coppell, General Manager, Rosalie Bay Eco Resort and Spa in Dominica, and Kyle Mace, Chairman, Jamaica Health and Wellness Network and Managing Director of the Jamaica in Jamaica. We were captivated and challenged to take action by the two presentations and video showcased under the second panel session on healing traditions and traditional medicines in CBT and agrotourism, delivered by Ina Harvey, International Agrotourism Specialist, Alicia Sarau, Operations Manager, Belmont Estate, Grenada, and Kelly McLean of the Oasis, Barbados. In the final panel, which explored alternative therapies in health and wellness tourism, we were introduced to the diversity of wellness tourism products ongoing in the region and given a glimpse of the yet untapped opportunities which still abound. So we want to extend our gratitude to Zara Duncombe, Chairman of the Caribbean Spa and Wellness Association, Brian and Annie Gomes, owners of Azure Experiences in Guyana, and Tom Hines, the owner of Naniki Barbados. And on concluding, I would like to note with gratitude the efforts of the team here at the Caribbean Tourism Organization who had the vision for today's forum and worked in the background to plan and execute this event this morning into afternoon. Specifically, Amanda Charles, our Sustainable Tourism Specialist, who served today as moderator, Sharon Coward, that's CTO's IT administrator, so she ensured that everything flowed seamlessly on this online platform. Marvell Seeley, who's part of the Resource Mobilization and Development Department, who coordinated all communication and designed the collaterals. Suzette Kelman, who also works within the Resource Mobilization and Development Department for supporting outreach and designing the PowerPoint presentation that you saw at the beginning of the forum on food, teas, and therapies in the Caribbean. And the CTO consultant, Sharon Trotman, who supported research and conceptualizing the agenda for this forum today. So thank you also, dear attendees, for your patience and for gracing us with your time and attention. And we look forward to you attending, coming back to forge greater discussions around this important subject area, as you can look forward to a part 2 of today's forum. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Amanda, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Sharon Banfield, for succinctly and comprehensively capturing today's proceedings. And I echo, the thanks and commendations to the experts and the participants. We will follow up via email with the recording and to inform of the second session. So thanks again and have a wonderful Wellness Wednesday.